Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm very glad that you stopped by because today is a great day for me. A lot of my tomatoes are starting to blush and turn red and there is just so much to harvest. So I'm not even gonna say any more, but let's get going. All right, friends, well, I did want to quickly show you the driveway garden. Now, while I do a separate GREENSTALK garden tour, I have been so busy. We have been so busy, I should say my husband and I have been busy at power washing and just kind of cleaning things up. We still have quite a bit to do because this is a really big driveway, but from the retaining wall all the way here, as well as all of this got cleaned. So my herb garden has been cleaned, everything, the wall's been cleaned, and it is so nice. And I moved things around and reorganized. Plus, I also made sure that I had a path between my green stalks. As I walk through against the wall, there's no more bags except for the ginger and the turmeric, which does very well here, so that's why I kept it here. And then the bags are finally in the back. If you're new to my channel, I have a driveway garden as well as a backyard garden. This is more of my GREENSTALK garden kind of with some berries and ginger and turmeric on the driveway. And so I just want to show you, we have been really busy just trying to clean some things up and change things around. So I wanted to show this to you before we went to the backyard garden. Now, I do not want to forget to give you guys updates on the dwarf apple trees. So if you're new, I bought these dwarf apple trees. These are two different varieties and I put them in just kind of a large pot. I don't remember the size of this. And so far they're doing good. I have a feeling this is going to take a while to grow, but I still want to give you updates and how they look. If you're curious about getting dwarf trees, I think they're a great way to kind of get, I don't know, started or acclimated to trees. Now, I'm sure dwarf trees are much different than full-grown mature trees that grow in the ground, but I still think there's a lot to be said and a lot to learn from dwarf trees. But so far, you guys, it's looking really good. And then here's something I really don't show a lot. It's my herb garden. Now, while I do have herbs throughout the garden, this is a specific spot for a lot of my lavender, rosemary, the oregano. This is all oregano right here. It's doing so good. I've harvested several times this year and just everything's doing really good. So I thought I'd just give you a quick peek at everything because I really do like where they're at. I like coming out here and just clipping what I need. It's not far from the door and it just works really well for me. Here's a quick side view of the garden. It's wild and I'm totally here for it. I'm trying to tame and keep some things clean, but I'm also letting some of these plants just be themselves and be wild, and I'm loving it. So the first thing I do want to share is I finally harvested the potatoes, and what I'm going to do either right now or the end of the video, more than likely the end of the video, I will show you how I harvested these. I recorded myself harvesting the potatoes and I'll show you the harvest at the end. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll share my thoughts in the video of what I'm going to be doing next time, but I did want to let you know I did harvest those and I recorded myself showing you all how much I actually got from that. By the way, the reason I showed this in the beginning is because you and I are going to pick some flowers for our kitchen table so that we can have something very pretty. Look at those sweet bees, you guys. I wish they were in a different direction because the lighting isn't doing it justice, but they're super cute. Look at them. One looks like he's resting and the other one looks like he's not full yet. I love seeing bees in my garden. It just makes my heart so happy. Oh, no, he's not sleeping. He's still working. He must be hungry too. Go on and eat, guys. I love it. You're more than welcome here in this garden anytime. Okay, so I have a lot of snapdragons. Now I will tell you, if my camera gets foggy at any point, I keep having to try to clean it, because when I tell you guys, it is humid out here. Oh my gosh. It only leaves the evenings for me to harvest or do any of these videos, because it is just, I just walk outside and I'm just melting. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's really hot. So I'm trying to keep the lens from fogging up, but I think we're going to grab some snapdragons because I planted a lot in here and they're just one of my favorite flowers. So I'm going to grab one of those. All right, we got some really pretty white snapdragons so far. And I think there's a zinnia that I'm going to harvest, as well as a dahlia to add to this too. All right, you guys, now the peppers. There's so many peppers. This is probably the best pepper year I'm having so far, and this Mulatto Islenu is doing amazing. So we have one that I'm gonna harvest right here. I kind of wait till they're red. These are sweet potatoes, listen to me. These are sweeter peppers. These are not hot. They kind of look like shishitos to me, but they're ready when they are red. So I am going to actually leave those. I'm just going to harvest this one red one because they are everywhere, and I'm sure they're going to start to turn red very soon. And by the way, these tall plants right here are cosmos. It's the first time I'm growing them with the peppers, and I like it a lot better than having the basil. I've said that before, but they are really tall. So, you know, I'm always experimenting with companions and how well they do with the peppers. And so far I do like this better than the basil. All right, so we have some sweet bananas and pepperoncinis that we are going to harvest. And what I did do, like I did the last time, is I grabbed, oh, let me check this one. Oh my goodness, look at you. I didn't even see you in there. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here. Oh, this is a big one, you guys. Look at. So what I did is I brought this out again. I really liked having the bootstrap farmer trays to divide the pepper, so I knew which ones was which, just because some of these are new varieties for me. So I am going to continue to bring this out, and I really like it. Now we have the pepperoncini, if I am saying that right. These also, to me, you guys, look like shishitos, which is another reason why I have to keep them divided. But these are really good too. So I've been very pleased with these. Now the New Mex Joe Parker, you guys, just like the Italian pep, I don't know if you can see all those peppers in there. There's a ton of peppers. Those are not ready because they're supposed to be red, but because there's so many and this one is just showing a hint of color, I am going to take this one and let it just turn color in the house. But this is exciting. I feel like every variety that I'm trying this year, there's not one that I don't like. It's gonna make it really hard to narrow any peppers down next year. I already know it's gonna be really hard. All right, now we're on the end because I wanted to show you, I do have a bell pepper. So this is the sun orange. So it does need to turn orange first, but I do see some other flowers. And then this one too at the end, I believe these are all the Italian. Oh, look at one is blushing, you guys. Let's grab this one. So this is the Italian pepper. I have two inside that actually finally turned red. I haven't eaten them yet, but they look really good. These look so good. These ones so far I'm really liking a lot. And we're gonna grab this one too because this one's also showing a hint of red. I just want to try to harvest as much as I can so that the plant can continue to grow a lot more. All right, we got some Emerald Giants too, but those are not ready. I feel like these might need a little bit more time maybe. Actually, you know what, you guys? I don't know. I feel like, you know what, I'm gonna take these because I think they're okay. And you know what, if they're not, the plant will just, it'll grow more. But I think these are good. Look at that, that's beautiful. You guys, look at these little mushroom peppers. So these are the mushroom red peppers. When I tell you these are so cute, and obviously they're not ready because they're not even showing a hint of red. These are so adorable. Look at how cute those are. And there's more flowers on the top too. So those are doing really good so far. And then, ooh, I see a Cali Wonder. Yep, this one's definitely ready. Oh my gosh, is that gorgeous. Okay, we got a lot of peppers, you guys. Peppers excite me because you know what? A bell pepper, these things are so expensive at the store, and I'm sorry, but a lot of times, at least for me, in my experience, doesn't matter what store I go to, I feel like the quality of the bell peppers are not always the best, especially not fresh picking like this. The Jimmy Nardellos are not red yet. Now I do have one in the house that I'm actually going to be using probably today or tomorrow. They're kind of cool looking. They like scrunch up right here, but these are not ready. But I am noticing how prolific they are. There's more down here, so that's good. I'm looking for ones that are pretty prolific and at the same time, you know, just a good tasting pepper as well. Now the Golden Sunshine here at the end, I'm actually going to take this because I see a lot more flowers. This one out of all the bell peppers have been impressing me this year because I want to say this is my third or fourth time harvesting these, and they've done very, very well for me. Friends, I just saw this and I didn't even know that the sunflower opened. I have a lot of sunflowers that haven't opened yet. This is the Black Russian sunflower. I've never grown this one before, but look at how pretty that is. You can see I have a lot of sunflowers. So this one I sprinkled, I believe this one and a few of the other pots, like the little ones down here, were Save the Bees from Botanical Interest. And so this one had a lot of sunflowers in it and just a variety of flowers. And it's so pretty. And I've also been seeing hummingbirds, which is my favorite. If I can find one to put on video to share with you all, I will. But I love sunflowers. And then the ones, by the way, on these wood posts, I can't think, as well as the trellis back there, you can see they're getting really tall. So I'm just waiting for those heads to open up, and then we have sunflowers on some of the posts and larger trellis systems, which is going to look really pretty. All right, now on to the next pepper bed. So this one is more of my hot peppers with a couple of sweet, and I think this one is the jalapenos. Now this little guy down here is my shishitos. I'm actually kind of surprised that the shishitos are not growing larger, but you know what, if I remember, I think this one took a while last time when I grew them, so I'm not in a huge hurry. And I know anchos usually take a while for me too. But see, look at this is, okay, no, I'm sorry. I thought this was the sun orange bell pepper, but these are the Santa Fe Grandes. So we got another, I'm probably not gonna harvest that one yet, but let's see what else we have, you guys. Okay, the Anaheim chilies, that one's definitely ripe, so we can definitely grab this one. All right, there's other Anaheims, but I'm gonna wait for these to actually grow a little bit longer. You can harvest them anywhere from 6 to 10 inches, green or red. I prefer green because red just means to me that they're hot, and it may not be with Anaheim chilies. I grew them once last year, but oh, look at this red cayenne. I actually got some of the peppers mixed up, I think, and I don't know which one was Anaheim. This year I did a lot better with labeling and making sure the pepper plants were what they were labeled. So far it's been good. So I'm gonna wait on those, but let's see if there's any other peppers. All right, we do have a sun orange back here, but I'm gonna give it a little bit more time to turn color. And then I do have an emerald giant, but this one definitely needs a little bit more time to grow. All right, and see, this is what I mean about the Golden Sunshine. That's what it's called, Golden Sunshine. Do you see how much they grow? I feel like every week I have been picking them, and then there's more buds over there, like right here and right here. And they've just been making me really happy. And then even with over here, okay, excuse me, plant. Even here, the Mulatto Isleno. Look at how many peppers there are. And actually we can harvest these too because they're turning red. I just feel like they've been pretty prolific for me, and I like the taste of them, which is a big win. And you know what this actually tastes, what I've been using these for? I've been chopping them up and putting them in scrambled eggs with this roasted garlic and olive oil, a little bit of cheese. You guys, oh my gosh, it tastes so good. And that's what I've been using these for. You guys, look at that little mushroom red pepper that's growing. Isn't that cute, the way it's shaped? Oh, I can't wait to harvest these. They're so adorable. All right, we got one Hungarian yellow wax. So we'll grab this one. And then here's some of the cosmos. In fact, the butterfly was on this one, I think. I didn't see any eggs laid in there, but I won't touch it. I'll just leave that flower alone. As the gnat just went into my eye, I'm sorry if you hear me go a lot, that's because the gnats just like to fly in my face. All right, here's another view on the other side of the pepper bed. Now we do have jalapenos here on this side. This is the lemon yellow jalapenos. These usually do really, really good for me. So this one I'm going to grab. And then you can see how these are kind of like a limey color because they're going to turn yellow for us. Hopefully we can get those next week. And then these ones at the end are just regular jalapenos. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these anyways. What I'm doing is with the jalapenos, I'm just putting them in the freezer because I make a salsa with these. And so that way I don't have to worry about preserving them right away. Now, friends, I do want to give you a quick recap because I did make 2 pallets behind my second pepper bed full of peppers, and then there's a few herbs over here. For instance, I have lemon balm. I have another mullein plant, which you guys look at how tall the other mullein plant got. It's massive. This is the other mullein. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I'm not going to throw it away. So that's the other one. But I do have a newer one here. I just bought this one this year from Azure as a start. And then I did have 2 St. John's wort. This one looks like it needs to be replanted with it. Here's the lemon balm. And then here's the ashwagandha. I also bought this too. Now this looks like the bugs really got to it, but I do need to look it up and see how to preserve and use it so that I can use this plant that I started to grow from a start from Azure. With that being said, I do want to give you an update on the peppers because I had the lemon balm over here. I switched stuff around because nothing was growing. So even though, and I'm sure you can see, look at some of them has really bad bug damage, which is fine, but because I moved them around, I noticed a big difference in a lot of the pepper plants. They start getting fuller and bigger, and there's actually a few peppers that I'm going to harvest real quick. But this is a great example to show that none of these have companion plants. These ones, while I'm sure there's a few bugs that get into some of the peppers because I actually just had to throw one away, it's so minuscule because I have cosmos, which is a companion plant for peppers. So this is a really good example that companion planting really does help a lot. So I do have some shishitos. See, look at now, these are grown. Wouldn't that be funny if the ones in the bag did better than the ones in the bed? That would be funny to me. See, some of these, like this is the Anaheim chili, I want it to grow a little bit longer because it's still a little hard. So there's quite a bit of peppers in here, you guys. I think we're going to be harvesting some of these hopefully next time. All right, friends, I really feel like there's just so much to harvest, but I'm going to show you, and we're gonna harvest some green beans and cucumbers, but before I do that, I do wanna show you the GREENSTALK. So my hubby, finally, we got something put together to level this so it's no more on the ground, but he built this because, as I always share, our land slopes all the way down. This is the flattest, but it's still bumpy. So he built this little plateau or whatever. And so now we have the GREENSTALK on here, and I could not be more excited. You guys, I just love this yellow. I know that most of mine are the stone color, And that's just to match our house. So that, you know, because it's in the driveway. And I love that it's on the spinner. I love this GREENSTALK so much. Now, just to let you know, I did plant a lot of various things. So I do have some green beans growing in here. I planted kale in here, jicama, some heat tolerant lettuces. So I'm kind of experimenting with a few things. And pretty much throughout the garden, you guys, I am either adding more seed in spots that nothing grew, or later on in the week, I am going to be ripping out some of the pallets like I shared before. I'll show you that later towards the end. And I'm going to start some fall seeds as well that I will be sharing with you all very soon. But I just wanted to show you we finally got this off the ground. So these 2 bags on the end, we actually do have a few green beans to harvest over here, but I did pull out some of those kale plants and I'm starting a new one. So I started one from seed. I did plant some seeds in here. They have not germinated yet, and if they don't, that's fine. I'm going to start some seeds in the garage anyways, but I did want to come over here and harvest. Now these are the Maxibel. Now Maxibel, what I love about these, you guys, is these are a thinner green bean. This one's not quite ready. This is a thinner green bean and it's not as stringy. It has become one of my favorite. And then last year I called it the never ending green bean because just when I thought the plant was done, it just kept producing green beans all the way up until I think the frost. So these are one of my favorite green beans. Now this year I also tried a whole bunch of different varieties. You're gonna see them in the beds, but this is one of my go-tos for sure. All right, so let's just get in here. Now, before I start harvesting, because I think on this end you can see some of the cucumbers. So we're gonna be harvesting cucumbers and green beans in between. But look at, you got that cucumber, you got this one, this one's growing. There's another one here. There's another one there. Now this is quite interesting. I don't know. So now the vines, there's no more. Hold on, let's see if I could do this with one hand. Nope, I can't, but that's okay. I tried. So let's grab that. Okay, so at a certain point, these vines, I try to keep them going straight across, but after a point, I'm just like, whatever, go ahead and crisscross and do whatever you want. This year, I did try a bunch of different varieties, so I'm gonna have to look at a lot of my seed packets. I thought for sure this one, I don't remember doing one that, or planting one that looked like this, but when I cut this up and I made a cucumber sales, you guys, it was really delicious. So I'm gonna have to go check my seed packets. There is always that possibility that sometimes seed companies will mix up seeds. You know, listen, it happens. I mean, no one's perfect. That might be the case, but I do have to check. Otherwise, it is a really good cucumber. So it looks kind of funny too, but it's pretty. All right, so we got providers over here. You guys, I planted a lot of green beans, a lot of different varieties too. Now I'm not gonna separate the green beans like the peppers. I'm just going to harvest these and just throw them all in the basket. Now this next one is the red tail, let's see, red tail bush. Now here's my goal with cucumbers. I'm sorry, with cucumbers, green beans. I'm not necessarily looking for, see, look at, this is a red tail bush. Look at how many green beans there are. What I'm really looking for are greens. You guys, I can't talk today. It is so hot out here. It's not even funny. Okay, I'm looking for ones that are very prolific, that grows a lot, but also tastes good at the same time. Now, if there's a green bean that grows prolifically and it's stringy, I'm not going to be that picky because I'm looking for one that's going to produce the most. But I would love to have a good flavor and not too stringy. And that's what I'm going here. What I'm going for here is just ones that are very prolific and taste good. And then if you remember, I told you I kept some of the onions in here. I am going to actually start harvesting some of these, so I'm going to be throwing those in the basket as well. Look how small they are. So this has been nice to have to grab for fresh eating throughout the summer. That's pretty good. All right, now this next one is called Roma 2. I've never grown this before. These look These actually kind of remind me of Kentucky Wonders or even Connecticut Wonders. Although Connecticut Wonders, they're vining and so is Kentucky. And Connecticut's are actually white, but these actually do remind me of those. But it looks like I got quite a bit, so let's harvest some. These next two are both purple. One is the purple dove and the other one is the purple teepee. Anyways, either one of them, look at how stunning, you guys, look at how stunning the purple is. Look at how beautiful that is. So let's see. It looks like we may not have, let's see. I think they're actually mostly flowering right now, so we may not have any to harvest. But that's okay. We'll have some to harvest soon enough. So since we're on this side of the trellis, you can see all of these cucumbers. Look at all of them. Now, we're going to harvest this long one, but these we're going to keep on there because they're not quite ready. Although, you know what, you guys, that one does look ready. So we're going to harvest this one. Now for this other half, we have golden butterwash, no, sorry, golden butterwax. We have the red swan bush. Then we have Sonesta wax bush. Never tried those. And then we have the Nautica dwarf and the opera bush. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to harvest a few and I'll show you what I get. All right, so the golden butterwax, let's see if I can make sure this stays in focus. There's actually a lot of flower buds, so I don't think a lot of these down here are quite ready, but I did get a couple of these. And then the red swan bush, you guys, sorry, I'm trying to read my chicken scratch, has a lot of buds. There's none to harvest. Now, I am kind of impressed with the Sonesta wax bush. You can see there's actually quite a bit and there's more growing. So we got those. I'm just sticking them in my basket. And then this last one, the opera bush, couple, but there's a lot of buds. You can see there's a lot growing right there. And so we'll just have to wait. Hopefully we can have these for next week. My goal is to harvest a lot of tomatoes with you, so I'm trying to hurry because I am losing light. And you guys, I cannot get over how humid it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the cucumbers. You can see that the whole trellis is just covered. I'm so impressed with the cucumbers. We're gonna go ahead and harvest this one. And I do have one. It's growing right up here. And oh, you know what? I think this is Wonder White or Silver Slicer is down there. This is a Wonder White, I think. I can't remember. I'm gonna grab that one too. It's called White Wonder. That's what it's called. I forget some of the names. Now, I will say I did see, unfortunately, ooh, that one was hard on my arm. Okay, I did see a hole in this, so I might be getting those cucumber. Yeah, you see that hole right there? So we'll have to check that. Sometimes when this happens, it won't go all the way down, and you guys, I will eat the rest of the cucumber if it didn't touch the rest, but looks like I might be getting those worms again. But I have been getting so many cucumbers, it's been really nice. I just realized there's more up there, but I'd rather go get the tomatoes than grab that. I'll have to grab that during the week. But all I'm seeing are a bunch of cucumbers everywhere. I think this is the Katrina. I'm gonna grab this one. These have been one of my favorites too. I think I'm gonna be growing the Katrina every year now. Before we move on, I can't not share this with you. So this is, I'm assuming, a cherry tomato that is literally growing out of the ground. And they are starting to blush right here, but I'm not going to pick them just yet. I have another one by the stairs. I'll show you guys an update on that one. It's just wild, and we actually do have some to pick, but this one is doing very, very well. And so what I did was I grabbed a bamboo stick. I have two bamboo sticks that one I put in the pot and the other one I put in the ground to support it. And we'll see. We'll get some cherry tomatoes from these, hopefully. Before we look at the last bit of green beans and we harvest, because I do have a little bit, I have to give you an update on this computer, listen to me, cucumber plant that's been growing out of the ground. So if you watched my last video or two, I had harvested some cucumbers, like 2 of them already. You guys, I have one to harvest here, and I have, well, I think I'll let this one stay, and I have this one to harvest, and then I believe there's more. There's another one growing over there. Look at this, you guys. I am like, for me, being that this is my 5th year of gardening, I'm really surprised because the soil here is not the best. And when we had these cucumbers, when I made a cucumber salad, they were absolutely delicious. Now I do want to mention that I kept an eye on this during the week, and when they're on the ground like this where it can get dirty or insects, I try to get a leaf or something under it so that it's supported, so that there's no damage or soil. So hopefully, I don't see any bug damage, so I'm really happy. I just see some dirt on there, but we're good to go. All right, I'm gonna try to do this quickly because I don't wanna lose light, you guys, and I really wanna show you all the tomatoes that we have to harvest. Okay, so this first one is the Maxibel, and you're gonna see why I like it. Look at how long and thin they are. These are, I'm telling you, they're my favorite green bean, and they grow a lot. So we got some Maxibel, I'm very happy. So these two, well, actually all 4 of these squares are Maxibel, and then we have Tavera. Now Tavera looks like it's not quite ready. There's a lot of blooms, although no, this is Maxibel. I see you, Maxibel, you're going over there, bud. All right, so it looks like Tavera is not quite ready, and it looks like Maxibel doesn't know how to stay on its own side. Now that I remember, I actually had to plant a few more Taveras because they weren't germinating. It could be that this side is not getting enough sun, but I don't have any Tavera. Now this top crop, now these seem crazy, and I bought these from the Dollar Tree. These seem very prolific. You're making me happy. So this one is just growing wild. So it looks like we have quite a bit of top crop. Now we have Cherokee Wax, Jade, Contender, Gold, Red, Royal Burgundy, and then we have Gold Rush. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these as well so we can move on to the beautiful tomatoes. All right, so here's the Cherokee Wax. I'm pretty impressed. These were also from the Dollar Tree so far. I'm liking those. And then these are some of the Jades. I feel like the Jade and Contender need a little bit more time. And then the Burgundy, or the Royal, yeah, the Royal Burgundy, look at how pretty those flowers are, you guys. They're so stunning. We got a couple of these. And then Gold Rush. Gold Rush doesn't disappoint, and neither does Royal Burgundy. That's why I grew them again this year, because they did so well last year. All right, friends, so we did peppers, green beans, cucumbers. Now, hopefully we can get to all the tomatoes before I lose lighting. I may have to do the closing of this video in my garage because we got quite a bit of tomatoes to pick. All right, so I've got Martina Romas. You can see they're starting to blush. So what I'm going to do, you guys, because look at how massive all of this is, I'm just gonna go in there. I'm going to pick a bunch of tomatoes and I'm gonna show you everything at the end. But these are the Martina Romas. I have San Marzanos in here, and then the rest are just a mix of different varieties of plum tomatoes and sandwich tomatoes. But that's where I want to show you. This bed right here is full of tomatoes. So I'm just gonna grab from these two and show you what I get at the end. All right, friends, so here's all the Martina Romas, and there's a ton more tomatoes that are green. I cannot wait to harvest the rest. Now, I do want to give you an update. I know the lighting is not the best here, whether it's bright or not, but the Kentucky Wonders are doing really good. In fact, you probably cannot see it. Let me see if I can get the other side. All right, I don't know if you can see that green bean, but they're starting to grow, and there's buds everywhere. There's one of the sunflowers, it's super tall. Everything is growing really good here, and thankfully the Japanese beetles are gone. But look at you guys. I know it's probably really dark in here. It doesn't help at all, but you can see a lot of the tomatoes in here. Maybe, I don't know. It is probably really dark. And now we're gonna harvest the San Marzanos. You guys, this side has gotten wilder than the other side. Look at how tall it is. These got really tall, so I'm gonna go in here and harvest a bunch of those. All right, so that was the San Marzanos. Let's go ahead and check the other tomatoes. So I do want to quickly mention this bed and the 4 bags. There are no tomatoes ready to harvest, but there's a lot there. This one is what I'm going to focus on harvesting. And then I think we have just a few on the pallets back here. And then this one over here is not ready for harvesting. You can see there's quite a bit of tomatoes here, but they're not ready for harvesting. Hopefully I have time. You can see all those little tiny tims and some of the tomatoes. I'm hoping I could grab that last. We'll see. Maybe I'll just harvest as much as I can and then do the ending in the garage because I have been waiting for these tomatoes. But let's go ahead and harvest from here. So this is the first one I want to harvest. Look at this red. It's gorgeous. So this is the Encarche. I'm probably saying that wrong. Paste tomato. So here's what I'm seeing. Look at how large this is. It's really big. So there's more on there that need to turn red. So here's what I'm noticing. There's not as many of those that I'm seeing growing, but when they grow, they're growing really big. Whereas you can see the striped Roma, while they're smaller, they're very prolific. Look at how many clusters. If you remember in the past videos, I was showing you all the many clusters. You just really couldn't see it because they weren't turning red. But look at how beautiful those are. So these are like little baby Romas. I'm probably just gonna stick them in with the Romas just because they are little baby Romas. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna go ahead and harvest. All right, and this bed as well, there's nothing to harvest yet. We are getting some tomatoes, but they're not red. And there's actually a few more that I could pick, but I need to get my step ladder out here to do it. But let me touch base on the watermelon because I am definitely losing light. We also had some thunderstorms today, which didn't help. And so I wanna make sure I'm kind of sharing everything. I don't know if you can see that dark sky back there. Oh, look how dark that is. Okay, so let's give some updates before we lose complete lighting. So this watermelon that I have been having in here, it's still growing. I'm glad I put this on here to support it. I'm hoping I can at least, if I can at least get one watermelon, you guys, I would be so happy. But we also have this one, we have that one, and there's another one growing. I just realized, my goodness, you guys, the sky is really dark over there. So I'm just gonna keep going. I don't see any lightning, but I'm actually gonna harvest some basil to put with our flowers as well. Well, I'm adding this in the video. I think I did this last video too, where I just started losing lighting and I wanted to make sure I covered some key parts of my garden that I really want to make sure that I'm showing you on a daily basis or telling you how things are going, especially the bags that I added over there for all the water that drains on my property and that new trellis system over there. But the last I left off was the watermelons because it was starting to get really dark. There was a gray cloud coming in and it just really killed the last little bit of lighting that I had. But I did want to quickly show you because I showed you this watermelon and I did show you this one. I think I was trying to show this one and I just couldn't because of the lighting, but we do have more here and I couldn't be more excited. I'm just really hoping to get a full-size watermelon. Even if it's just one, I'll be really happy with it. So far, this one's looking pretty, you can see by the size of my hand, it's looking pretty good. I'm hoping that this is helping with the support. But here's what I want to show you before we go in the very back, because that'll be the last thing I show all of you. I wanted to keep you updated on a lot of these bags. So I put these bags here because we do get a lot of water that just drains down the property this way. And my hope, while cleaning up my driveway and focusing more on the green stalks, because that's where these bags came from, they were all on my driveway, I thought by putting them here it would catch a lot of the water so we wouldn't have a massive amount of water down there, but it would also help with watering these bags because the bottoms would soak up the water. So far, you guys, even though this is kind of a tight space over here, I'm actually really liking this. And so far it's kind of working. I will definitely keep you updated on what I think about this. I may end up at the end of the season not like it, scratch it and do something different. But in case you are having water issues on your property or with your land, this is an option you may want to try. I don't know. I'm still in the midst of, like I said, trying and experimenting with it. And so far I'm really liking it. Now, I do want to tell you that what I have growing here, besides all those beautiful zinnias and leeks that are in the bag, are snacking cucumbers. I will say this is my second year trying the snacking cucumbers. I do see a bud or two, but I'm not really impressed with them this year. I'm not really sure what's going on. I may not even do this again. Last year I had a couple of snacking cucumbers, but this year I'm not really sure what's going on. These are some baby snacking cucumber plants, so these still have time to grow. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on how I like them and if we get any cucumbers. Now I'm gonna really quickly share this little corner here because these 4 bags, which was actually in one of my videos on this trellising system that I did and how to put it in a grow bag, I am experimenting with about 10 to 12 pepper plants in here. And you know what? I didn't even see this yesterday because there was so much that we were harvesting yesterday. But you guys, look at, I've got peppers. That is really exciting. And the reason I'm so excited about this is if I ever have, look at this. I didn't even see this, you guys. How fun is that? So what's nice about this, and it's getting me excited right now, is the fact that if I ever have extra pepper plants that I just don't have the heart to let go of or throw or get rid of in any way, if I don't have anyone to take them, I could do this. I can just stuff them in these bags. Oh, there's a cobweb. Look, there's more peppers. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am really excited about this. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on this and see how many peppers we get from these plants. And then look at, I didn't even realize that there were more tomatoes over here, so I'm gonna have to pick those off right now. But these bags have all determinants, and you guys, look at how much fruit is on here. It's so much. So this is one of my favorite ways to grow plum tomatoes, are in these grow bags with determinants and these little tomato cages. And then I just have basil surrounding it. But these are doing very, very well. I shared before that last year in these bags, I had cherry tomatoes and it was just a hot mess. I will say, because these are determinate, even though they've gotten tall, this is so much more manageable, and this just makes me happy. I'm definitely gonna be doing this again next year. And then look at the plant that's growing out of the ground, you guys. So I've been trying to manage it. Look at, it's getting a little crazy, okay? It's getting a little crazy. I'm tying it up all over the stairs here, but I'm growing tomatoes, you guys, and that's really exciting. So I meant to grab the ones that are right here. You can see there's some right here that are ripe, but sorry, I just had to turn my head. I hear a bee right by my head and they're just trying to get the flowers. Okay, so I forgot to actually grab these yesterday, so I'll grab those now. But look at, it's growing right out of the ground. I put some straw there. Now, what is nice about this spot, and I think the reason why this is thriving, is for the very reason that because of the way the land is, a lot of the water diverts right here and just sits here. So it's automatically getting watered, and it's just, look at it. It is just growing like crazy. Super exciting. Now, I did reseed some things. So I am growing green beans here. Sorry, it is really hard to see the lighting, which is why I don't normally go outside. Like, I don't film during the day because sometimes it's too bright or too hot, so it's hard to tell if I'm getting things on camera. But I did reseed some things. This is actually a kale. I'm hoping because it's shaded that this will grow out to be a full maturity, hopefully by fall. And then these are heat tolerant lettuces. They are getting hit with bugs already though, but you know what, you never know unless you try. We'll see how it goes. And then the rest are pretty much just green beans. I am growing some more dandelion because they do really good, I feel like, during the heat, because they're doing really good in the back, so I thought I'd try those. And then I want to say that I also planted some jicama. Now I don't see them, oh no, I don't see it sprouting, so we'll see. You know, I'm just trying to experiment. The other GREENSTALK, I am experimenting with some things as well. That's encino lettuce. I don't even see anything there. That green bean didn't. Okay, so there might be some things I have to reseed, but during the summer, if you don't keep the soil moist, it's just really hard for them to germinate. But some of them germinated and we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But overall, I'm really liking this, like I said, right by my stairs. By the way, you guys, I totally forgot about these last night. We're gonna have to grab them right now. Now this is one of the things I definitely want to keep you guys updated on because it's new. This is my cherry tomato trellising system. I did pick some cherry tomatoes last night. I just didn't get it on camera, but I did show it, or I'm going to be showing it at the very end of the video here. But I want to give you an update on how I feel about this. I'm still really liking this and I want to keep doing this. I actually would love to add another like 2 or 3 of these for cherry tomatoes. It would be really great. But I feel like overall cherry tomatoes, because they get really wild and they can get messy, this has helped me to keep it kind of cleaned up and in one spot. Now I will say the only downside is if you have them in bags, you do have to water them more frequently depending on where you live, how hot it is, how much it rains, doesn't rain. So I've had to keep them really watered and making sure that the soil is not getting dry or hot. So that's probably the only downside, although I could always put this trellis and put like a little bed around it too. So I don't know, I'm always thinking of different ways of doing things, but right now I am really liking this. And if I can in the future, I probably more than likely I'm gonna get more of these trellises. So, but I do love all the cherry tomatoes that are growing. You can see they are growing really good on here, and I'm actually gonna pick just a few more that are blushing. By the way, I am growing new varieties, but this one right here, which is a white currant, when I tell you picking this and eating it during the heat of the day is one of the most delicious flavors. I also love sweet pea and sweet currant, and because they're really tiny tomatoes, but when you freshly pick them, it's just like a burst of flavor in your mouth, and it is one of my favorite tomatoes now. Okay, I had to eat that one. That was so delicious. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite cherry tomatoes now. You guys, if you have not tried white currant, you have to. It is really good. Here's my bumblebee. I'm just waiting for it to turn color. You see all the like marbling and striping? It is a very beautiful, beautiful tomato. Now I want to talk to you about the cantaloupe, and then we're going to briefly look at the back so I can show that to you before we go to the ending of the video and I show you all the harvest minus what we harvested today. But you guys, I'm really excited about the cantaloupe. So I did 4 different varieties of cantaloupe, and they're in about like a 15-20 gallon grow bag. They've been doing really good. I just have kept them watered, made sure they haven't, the soil hasn't gone dry. The straw does help, but you guys look at the cantaloupes. I am really excited. I've never grown a cantaloupe to full size, so I'm really hoping that, now this one I haven't really seen. I think there's a bud over here, but I'm not seeing as much with this one. But these 2 are getting to be full of some cantaloupe too. So we have a little baby one here, this one, and then we have these 2. So I'm really excited. And I love that I have it cascading on the ground and just letting it sprawl around and do whatever it needs to do to grow. And hopefully we'll be harvesting cantaloupe together. And I forgot to mention, I'm also growing a melon here. Now I don't know exactly the melon I'm growing because this was a gift, but look I'm growing a melon right over there. It's on the ground. So hopefully this will give me a melon as well. Now I do want to share these bags that are in the middle with all the tomatoes. Now they're all determinate tomatoes. They're not supposed to get super crazy high. Although I will say Martha F1, that's probably an indeterminate, so there might be a few indeterminates. But these are doing exceptionally well. I do love how I put those in a line as well. I've propped them up with some rocks because the land, it slopes down. But so far it's really good. I don't have anything to harvest, but there are a lot of tomatoes on there, as well as these pallets. There's tomatoes, there's just not any to harvest. But these are all doing really good, and I wanted to show you how large the Martha F1s get, because these are beautiful tomatoes and they're one of my favorites. So you can see just how lovely they look. I'm just waiting for them to blush, you guys. All right, now I'm going to very quickly address the pallets. I'm going to show you the gourd on this newer trellising system, and then that'll be it for the back. But what I want to share is I made these 2 pallets, all tomatoes, basil. We do have a couple of pepper plants. We actually have 1 jalapeno growing already, even though there's a lot of bug pressure over there. But everything is growing really good. I'm glad that I put the tomatoes back here. You can see, actually, we'll harvest and talk at the same time. But I'm really glad that I did put the tomatoes back here to try it out. I do like that they're a little bit more shaded back here, and so far this is working good. I think I'm going to do it again. Now, I did share this before. I already got one bag ready because here's what I'm going to be doing. Besides some of the bags that, all right, hold on, let me put this in here. Besides some of the bags that I've added some squash, I think those Napa cabbages are done, you guys, but I'm still gonna let them chill and just kind of see what they do until I need to take them out. But I have been planting some squash. I actually do have a pumpkin plant down there, but a lot of this is a lot of the lettuces, the Swiss chard down there, if you can see all the Swiss chard down there. What I plan to do in the next week, because I've already figured out exactly what I want to do, I am going to be yanking a lot of stuff out, and I'm going to be putting green beans in while starting my fall seeds. Now, I'm going to have to try to very carefully handpick, because look, you can see that there are some really good Swiss chard pieces growing. I even passed this right here, you guys. It's spinach that's growing in the summertime. So I am going to go through and hopefully try to harvest a little bit and see what I get. And then my goal is to just take everything out, like I said, and we're going to put green beans in here while I get the fall seeds ready. So that way, I see you, squirrel. I see you, buddy. Don't come over here. You got food in the forest now, so don't come over here. So, like I said, I'm going to put green beans, get the soil prepped, and then I'm going to be putting my fall garden in the back here while I let the rest of my beds continue to give me tomatoes up until a little bit before the frost. I haven't made up my mind completely about the fall garden and like what I want planted everywhere, but that's what I want to do. So I have a lot of work ahead of me back here. So while the rest of the garden grows, I'm going to be cleaning this up, harvesting, and just replanting. Now, I do want to mention that the reason I decided to do green beans in the soil is because green beans do help fix nitrogen into the soil. So that way, when I am ready to plant my broccoli or cabbages or whatever, the soil already got some help from the green beans being in there. All right, last but not least, the newest trellising system is doing so good, you guys. So I did go ahead and harvest some of those tomatoes that were, oh, actually, I didn't even see these, you guys, so I guess we can harvest them together. These are all the Tiny Tims and the Indeterminate, and I thought that was a spider. And they're doing really good over here. I'm very happy. So if you're new to my channel, my husband just built this trellising system, and the reason it looks this way is because our land goes it slants down, so he went from taller to shorter so that it would be even. It's great for my back. I have dwarf tomatoes here. I have determinants pretty much all the way down there except for the gourd and the loofah plants, and then I do have a few cucumbers, which you guys, look at the cucumbers. So exciting. They're in 2-gallon grow bags, by the way, which you do have to keep those watered because, oh yeah, those will dry out fast. And then I do have a spaghetti squash, more tomatoes, and a lot of yucca, which to me, in a short summary, is a summer root crop. In my opinion, that's what I call it. Now, I do want to share something, you guys. I am seeing, for the first time in a long time, I'm starting to see a squash right there. We'll see how far it gets. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I see another one over here, right there too. We'll see what happens. I'll be happy if I just, oh, look at, I'm zooming too far in. I'll be happy if I just get one squash, you guys. So let me go ahead and finish plucking these tomatoes, and then I do want to show you the gourd. All right, here's the last thing I want to show you guys. Look at the gourd. I've never grown a gourd before, you guys, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm really glad that I cut the other plant out of the grow bag because I think they were fighting for nutrients. So I had to make the tough decision and cut the smaller plant out. And I'm really glad that I did because I'm starting to see more fruit. And this one's obviously growing to a much larger size. So hopefully we'll be harvesting a gourd in the next couple of weeks. I also want to add here the grapevine. So I try to stay on top of sharing everything with you all, especially if something's new. And this trellis is new and these grapevines are new. Now, this one seems to not be growing as much as the other one, but I'm not seeing any like major diseases. There was some Japanese beetle issues. You can see they bit some of the leaves, but they're gone now. And it does look like it's growing. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on grape plants to see, you know, what they need and just some more information on them. But I do want to give you an update. They are growing very beautifully. Don't see any grapes yet. I may need to wait another year for them, which is fine. I just love having them right here at the entrance of the side of the garden. I think it's really pretty, and I just wanted to let you know how they're doing. And real quick, I want to mention something because a dear viewer of mine named Gia asked if there were certain plants that you can leave their roots in the soil for it to help or be beneficial in any way, which is why, as I mentioned, I am planting green beans so that when I take those out, I'm going to cut them at the soil line to leave their roots in there to help with soil nutrition. Now, I do plan to do a separate video when I start to yank everything out of the beds. There's some things I leave in there and there's some things I don't. I also think that it might be, you know, personal preference. I think as you grow as a gardener, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't in your climate. But I do want to let you know that sometimes it is beneficial to just leave the roots in the soil. Other times, if you see disease or it's not looking good, I highly suggest that you yank it out and not keep it in there. But I just want to add that, and I do plan, like I said, to make a separate video because anything to help with your soil is very important. Soil health is so key. If I've learned anything in gardening in the last 5 years, if you don't have healthy soil, you just are not going to grow anything. So leaving roots in the soil can definitely benefit your soil in so many ways. All right, friends, while we are closing in the garage, I just added some extra footage from yesterday. I had to do a 2-day backyard garden tour because I really wanted to show you some of the bags as well as that cherry tomato trellis that's new this year and the pallets in the back because everything back there is just growing beautifully, and I wanted to make sure I touched on a little bit of everything while harvesting. But as you can tell, we were harvesting a lot and we lost lighting, plus there was a really dark, very dark gray sky or cloud that came over, and that did not help with the last little bit of lighting that I had. And evenings have been best because it has been extremely hot during the day. So let's go ahead and see what we harvested today. All right, so the first thing we harvested are peppers. You guys, peppers get me super excited because I don't know about you guys, but peppers are just really expensive. At least by me they are. In Alabama they are. In Illinois they were. So the fact that I can grow peppers myself, and they're much fresher because you're picking them right from your garden, gets me really excited. So I'm still kind of figuring out which pepper varieties I like. This year's gonna be really hard because I feel like a lot of these varieties have been really good so far. But overall, I'm really happy with the peppers. So just to kind of go over what we have Mulatto Isleno, and then we have sweet banana, some bell peppers. We have pepperoncini. These are some hot peppers with one Hungarian. And then I believe, I'm trying to remember, this is the Italian pepper. I think this is the New Mexico Joe Parker. And then I think this one back here is the Anaheim. I had to think about that. The Anaheim chili pepper. And you guys, there's a whole lot more peppers and buds that are growing as you saw in the video. So really excited about the peppers. Now, this one's kind of heavy. Okay. You guys, the cucumbers, I'm gonna tell you, this year, they have been better than I've ever grown before. So I wanna say this is my 4th year growing cucumbers, and I've never had this many. And then we do have a couple of onions down there from, I'm getting so much soil on me. Okay, so we do have some little itty bitty onions that I'm hoping I can harvest a little bit at a time. If not, I'll just harvest them all at one time and just stick them in the fridge or freeze them. It's not really a big deal. But I do like the fact that I've been able to keep them in there, and they've done well in there, just staying in the beds. But I'm impressed, you guys, with the cucumbers, especially the ones, you guys, that are growing in the ground. So if you're new to my channel, I did share kind of in the beginning that I had a cucumber plant just growing from the ground. That was a total volunteer. I did not start that at all. It just started growing on its own, and I wanted to see what it was going to do. Oh, here's the other one. And you guys, it's been giving me a consistency of cucumbers, plus there's a lot more. So overall, very happy with them. And then, sorry, these bamboo sticks. I love my bamboo sticks. You can see them in the back. I have all different sizes. I love using them for trellises. So I have nowhere else to put them, so they're right behind me. And then over here are all of the cherry tomatoes. So hopefully you can see all of that. Now the ones that are in the front are all of the tiny tin ones. I didn't show on camera me picking them, but I did briefly show you on the video all the cherry tomatoes that need to be picked. So that was a mix of like some dwarf tiny tims, as well as some determinate cherry tomatoes. And then the ones in the middle are all the ones from that cherry tomato trellis that's new. And so far, you guys, I think that's where I'm gonna have my cherry tomatoes. I'm very, very, very excited about them. Then we also got green beans. So I love green beans. We enjoy green beans. I don't can these. I just freeze them and then I throw them on the cast iron. They're one of our favorite ways to eat them, with just some butter, some salt and pepper. Sometimes I'll sprinkle some garlic and onion on there, but I am very, very, very happy with the green beans, and there's a whole lot more. Plus, you guys, I planted a whole bunch more in the green stalks, as well as throughout the garden in the bags. And I plan to also plant some more in the pallets in the back, like I said earlier. So I'm very happy with the green beans. All right, and then we got our tomatoes. You guys, how long have I been saying that I've been waiting for them to turn red? They finally turned red, and I could not be more excited. So my goal with the tomatoes, so I have a lot of sandwich tomatoes as well as plum tomatoes. Obviously the sandwich tomatoes I'm just using for fresh eating, or maybe even trying some salsas. But a lot of the plum tomatoes, I am making these for definitely salsa first. So order priority salsa, spaghetti sauce, and then pizza sauce. And I planted more paste tomatoes this year than I ever have before. And there are a ton of clusters of tomatoes everywhere, and I'm just waiting for them to turn red. And they finally are, you guys. But I have to show you this again. So do you remember this one? I think this is encarche paste. I'm gonna have to learn the correct verb. I want to just say encarche, I don't know. But look at how big this is compared to just like your regular Roma. Not that there's anything wrong with like a regular size Roma, but look at how big this is. So if this one produces a good amount, I don't know. I may grow this again. So I did a lot of varieties, like I said, of paste tomatoes, because I wanted to find varieties that produced a lot and tasted good. And this, I don't know, they're all impressing me this year, you guys. I don't know. Martina Romas and San Marzanos are my favorite. Hands down, paste tomatoes. They grow beautifully every year. They never let me down. They grow beautiful in clusters. But I also wanted to try my hand at other stuff. And I don't know, a lot of these are surprising me. Now, I will say the striped Romas, they are really small, you guys. But again, if these are producing, you saw there was a bunch of clusters, if they're producing a ton of little plum tomatoes, then this would, equal, a full one. So if this one doesn't produce as many, but they're big, and this just produces a lot and they're small, I mean, I'll go with either one. I'm all about what's going to taste good and produce a lot and not give too much of my time and my effort. I like to kind of just let the plants do their thing if I can. So I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see. But I know in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be harvesting a ton of tomatoes, a ton of green beans, and hopefully still continue to harvest cucumbers, unless those little cucumber caterpillars get them. Hopefully they don't. But we have a lot to harvest in the coming weeks. All right. right, then lastly, I want to show you this cute little bouquet of flowers, you guys, that we picked together. So the vase that I brought out, I wanted to fill it with just a little something to put on the counter, and I wanted to pick it with you all. And so we have this dahlia, which is new for me this year, and then these cute little white snapdragons. Snapdragons are definitely, just like dahlias and zinnias, are some of my favorite flowers. I was gonna grab a zinnia, but I didn't. I ended up just keeping it the dahlia and just this little bit. And then you know what I thought of doing? I thought of adding the basil, because the basil has such beautiful flowers on it. But not only that, it smells really beautiful. So I thought, why not add it in there for I mean, flowers have a pretty smell, but I figured having that Tulsi holy basil smell would be really pretty, because it does have a unique, in my opinion, it has a unique smell to it. So I thought by adding that in there would give it some height and just an overall beautiful smell. So I'm very happy with this, and hopefully maybe every garden tour we can pick a little vase of flowers together. That would be really sweet. So very happy with the harvest. Now, real quick, friends, before we end the video, I just want to give you some encouragement right now, because I know, at least for me, at this point in the summer, it is hot, there's insects, the garden is wild, and so I just want to encourage you to do what you can when you can, and any little bit of time that you can give to your garden is an A+, because I know for me, the first 3 years I gardened, I felt like I had to be out there all the time. I had to prune, I had to check insects, and this year I'm taking a different, and I have been taking a different approach when it comes to my garden, in that I'm not pruning as much, I'm not trying to control things as much. I'm trying to just let the garden be. Now, I will go out there, at least I try to on a daily basis, just for a few minutes to kind of just check stuff, whether, you know, I'm checking for hornworms or just some trouble spots or some fruit that I was keeping an eye on for just a few minutes, and then I'll let it be. The only other thing I'm trying to do is just keep everything hydrated, because we've been having some really hot days, but for the most part, I'm trying to just let the garden do its thing and then go out there, check, and harvest. Because believe it or not, we have the fall garden to think about. So I am going to be starting seed for the fall garden. That was the other thing I wanted to share with you as well, was that I do plan to start seed for the fall garden for the back pallets. But I really felt like I just needed to share with you all and just encourage you to just do what you can when you can, and don't feel overwhelmed, because I'm right there with you and I totally understand. But you got this and you're doing an amazing job. So friends, thanks so much for stopping by, and I always look forward to these garden tours and harvests with you. And always remember, friends, I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. All right, friends, I'm including this in the garden tour, backyard garden tour and harvest. I have been waiting to harvest these potatoes for a while, but it has been so hot, so I'm trying to do it in the evening, but I have to kind of hurry because I'm going to lose lighting. But I've shared this before, and I have a pallet with, it's kind of like 3 bags connected in one. They're squares. They may not look like squares right now, but they're 3 squares that are connected. Let me see if I can get a little closer. So here's one. Here's another one, and then that's the 3rd one, and I believe each one is 20 gallons, and I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure I have this down in my list of Amazon products that I really like. So a lot of these potatoes, so I have 6 of them were from M.I. Gardner potato seeds, and then these 3 over here are store-bought. Now I did a potato harvest with my GREENSTALKs with store-bought potatoes, and I had almost 20 pounds of potatoes. So I'm really excited to harvest these. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest and show you the results at the very end. Potato. So those are all the potatoes. So let's quickly go over them because I'll tell you what I'm excited about, what I'm disappointed about, and what I'm going to do next time to do something a little bit different. So this one right here, sorry I'm out of breath, it is still hot outside, you guys. So this first one is the Kennebec. The only potato I got was rotten, and that might have even been the seed potato, I'm not really sure. Now I think I've done Kennebec, if I'm saying that correctly, before, and I didn't get the best results if I remember. Now, just to recap, these 6 are all M.I. Gardner seed potatoes, and it's my first time getting them. And then these are all, 3 of these are store-bought. So this one right here is the Yukon Gold. I got some pretty good sizes in a couple of potatoes. Definitely thought I was going to get more than this, especially because of the size of the bags, but that's okay. I'm still happy with those. And then these are M.I. Gardner's russets. Now for some reason, I overall do better with russets regardless of store-bought seed potatoes from M.I. Gardner, or I'm forgetting the name of the other company at the very moment. If I come to think of it, I'll say it. But I seem to do pretty good with russet potatoes, so I'm happy about these. And then these are the red potatoes. Not bad. That one's definitely kind of smaller. Not horrible, but I have done better with red potatoes. Now the store-bought, you can see I definitely got more with store-bought, and I'm kind of mad at myself for not putting the exact potato down, but I'm pretty sure it's either Yukon Gold or russet, and I think these are Yukon Golds because they look like that. But I'm actually overall happier with the store-bought potatoes, and I seem to do better with store-bought potatoes. I'm not really sure why, but I do. So now that we harvested and we see all the potatoes, which I will weigh these because I am curious to know how much I did get from these bags, because I do want to mention, and I don't want to forget, these 2 green stalks that I harvested in one of my garden tour and harvest videos. You guys, I've struggled with growing a good amount of potatoes in the green stalks, and because I have that kind of attitude where I'm going to keep trying until I try to get what I want as far as, you know, the outcome of getting a potato harvest. I did it again this year, and you guys, I almost got 20 pounds, just about 20 pounds. I think I was an ounce shy of 20 pounds of potatoes out of these 2 green stalks, and they were all store-bought potatoes. So, and they were a mix of Yukon, russet, and red potatoes. I was very, very excited. Now, what I'm going to do differently with regards to these bags, I am going to be putting this soil in here. So what I think helps, I'm trying to gather all my thoughts here because I think this will help the next time I plant. In these green stalks, I've always used Bacto soil, which is a wonderful soil, but what I topped off, I didn't fill the entire green stalks with the soil, but I topped it off, and I added potato, well, I always add potato fertilizer when I plant, but the only thing I did differently this year, you guys, in those green stalks was this Happy Frog potting soil. And the rest of this garden, I also used Happy Frog potting soil, and everything seems to be thriving very well. So here's what I plan to do next time. I plan to put the Happy Frog in here to top off. Now what I did use was organic, so I used black cow compost, which is right here. I absolutely love this stuff. I always use black cow compost and a very good soil like Bacto, Kellogg's Organic, or the Happy Frog. So with this one, I'm going to top this off with the Happy Frog compost when I plant my fall potatoes in here. I also plan to do it in these bags. Now I had added, I have to look at this because I added to these bags a long time ago. I think there's already Happy Frog, yeah, because there's a lot of that. I can't think of this name right now, but I think Happy Frog is already in here, but that's what I plan to do. The other thing is, I also feel like, and this is just in my experience, that the more soils established, so for instance, I don't throw my soil away, I reuse my soil. So the green stalks, I've never thrown the soil away, and I think the more the soil is established, the better. So that also could be it, but that's what I plan to do next. Overall, I am really happy with everything. I do have another set of these, and I may just get those filled for the spring, and I think for the fall I may do these again, or just the green stalks, and those I haven't made up my mind yet because I don't have a ton of seed potatoes for the fall right now. But I just wanted to share with you guys this harvest and explain to you what I'm disappointed about, what I like and what I'm probably going to do next, because I want to make sure that I am sharing everything as much as possible that I harvest in this garden.